Passion is the motivation that is hanging up the goddamn nation. Looks like they always end up in a rut. Everybody now trying to make it real compared to what? Come on, baby.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Pascucci. Welcome to another exciting edition of Everything But the Kitchen Sink, Mansfield Cable Access's premier time show within our time slot. I have to make that, full disclosure. Again, it is a pleasure to be here. And if you would like to get a hold of us for any reason whatsoever, if you would like to be a guest on our show, if you have a question for one of our guests, you'd like to recommend a guest, there's something you'd like to see, say, or hear, the all-purpose way to get a hold of us is through our email account at mansfieldkitchensink@gmail.com. And as always, right there along your screen, courtesy of our numero uno top dog, Mr. Jack O'Neill, the best there is. He does a good job for us every week and makes things work out. And we wouldn't be here without him, so let's just leave it at that. Also, we are on Facebook, courtesy, with the new thing now, courtesy of the one and only Eddie Gato. And that is, we are on Facebook.com/Mansfield Kitchen Sink. So that gives you our TV show page. All kinds of cool stuff there. We have aerial photos and videos and photographs and you name it. CSI data and all that. So we're good there. And also on talkmansfield.org. So there. With that, we want to move on. We have big doings here. We have trouble in a local town, and our good old neighbors in Foxboro, which is borders Mansfield and several other towns, are dealing with an issue right now, and they are a town divided. And make no mistake about it, the people of Foxboro are a town divided, and we wanted to talk about what's dividing them, and that there's a casino proposal, there's a resort casino proposal being floated out there by a big Vegas developer, and he's working with the Kraft family, and it's pretty much everyone in Foxboro has weighed in on it, and it's getting rather emotional over there, and it's nice to see people involved, but some of it's just really getting out of hand, and there are different groups formed. There's the, I want a casino group. There's the I don't want a casino group. There's the go away and leave me alone group, and several others. We have reached out to as many of these groups as we can to see if people want to come over here and discuss it in the confines of beautiful Kitchen Sink. And they all have plenty to say, but they just don't want to go on TV and say it there. And that, I respect that. So what I did was I got the next best thing, okay? And I've got a couple of gentlemen with us tonight that you know and you love. And to my right is good old Eddie Gato. Here he is. Here in person.
That's it, in the flesh.
And also our good friend, Bill Gouveia, local columnist. And Bill has actually chimed in on the Foxboro Casino. He did an article now. He's doing 2 a week now. He does 2 a week instead of 1.
Heavy lifting.
Yeah, and the more the merrier. And Bill, I hate to say, Bill's not having a good night tonight, but with the big news, the Hostess Twinkies filing bankruptcy.
I got depressed last night when I heard that.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's really tough. But fortunately we have devil dogs.
Yeah.
So there's always an alternative.
Always drinks, yeah. But there's nothing like the Hostess apple pie.
That's true.
I think the apple pie has gone a little downhill.
Really?
They took away the frosting. That was my favorite part of the apple pie.
Oh, I haven't had one. They took away the frosting?
Yeah, there's no more frosting on the apple pie.
They really haven't made a Hostess apple pie in about 20 years. It's just they made so many and they're still around and they last forever. So.
I don't know. Too bad. Yeah. So anyways, we wanted to, and we're going to try to reach out to the people in Foxboro and, let them, at least hear what people have to say. And it's a big deal. It's a big deal, and we wanted to just discuss it a little bit, get some discussion going on. And I see Eddie's got some facts and figures with him.
I do.
And just from my observations, and I've been looking in on this now, I see there's like 3 major groups of people in Foxboro, and then there's like a couple of subgroups of those. And correct me if you feel differently, but there's the there's the jobs for Foxboro group. Okay, and a lot of that, some of those don't seem to be all Foxboro residents, but they all have pretty signs and they show up a lot. There's the anti-casino group. The casino, I guess they're called.
Yeah,
And
like a
little,
no-win scenario.
Yeah, they have all these little things. And that group is actually divided. There's the, we don't want the casino in Foxboro people, and we don't want a casino, period, anywhere. We don't believe in gambling people. And that to me, that's...
I think there's also groups, like I've talked to a lot of people from Franklin to Rentham that have expressed that they don't want the casino.
Yeah, but I mean, and then there's the group from Foxboro that wants to hear more. At least they want to hear the proposal. They want to, they want to see some research on the impact, and then they want to make an informed decision. And it seems like that group is getting muted out pretty much by the other two. And so that's why we get everybody here tonight to just kind of see where, what the feelings are, and just, offer some, see what we can do, some random thoughts. And so we wanted to have, Bill wrote a nice article about it, and one of the points that you wrote is, it is a casino. You can call it what you want, a resort, but it is a casino.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of, constantly referring to an override question as a debt exclusion. And there is a difference between a debt exclusion and a general override, but it's still an override. And you do yourself a disservice when you don't just call it, because all you're doing is loading the other side's gun. Is just putting another bullet in that they can use, and pretty soon you start debating on whether it's an override or a debt exclusion, and you forget the real point, which is the pros and cons of the actual issue. And that's what's happening in Foxboro. Call it a casino. That's, there's not going to be a hotel built without a casino. So that's the bottom line. And you talked about the groups. I honestly believe that the largest contingent of people in Foxboro are the people who are just waiting, to see. Because if you think about it, how can you really be against, or for that matter, what's being proposed for Foxboro? Because nothing's been proposed yet. They've talked about having a casino. Steve Wynn is going to come up with some kind of proposal. But so far, all they've talked about and all the selectmen have voted on is whether or not to listen to what Mr. Kraft and Mr. Wynn have to say. And, I remember watching, one of my favorite movies is the movie 1776. And Stephen Hawkins, the representative from Rhode Island, at that point cast the deciding vote on whether or not they're going to consider the Declaration of Independence and Liberty. And he says, I ain't never seen an idea so dangerous it can't be talked about. And to me, that's the whole crux of the argument that's going on now.
Right.
This should be talked about. It should be fleshed out. You can't be against something you don't know what it is. You can't be for something you don't know what it is. Hear the details, find out what it is, make an intelligent decision.
Right.
I agree.
And those are the people I've been paying attention to most of, is the group that just wants to, they want to know what's going to happen. And thus far, they've been pretty much muted out by the government. I mean, the selectmen are afraid. It's getting nasty over there. I mean, as far as with the signs and, neighbors that have been neighbors and friends for, years and years and years aren't talking to each other.
Yeah, now they're divided.
It's serious. And, you hate to see that happen to a good little town. But on the other hand, as a neighbor, it affects Mansfield. It affects Norton. It affects all the area towns.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, whether it affects it in a positive or a negative way, or a little bit of both, you don't know. So, and again, as Bill said, and Eddie's got some cool things here to talk about. But
I do.
We until they know exactly what it is they're going to do, and believe me, these people do this for a living. Okay, Mr. Wynn, I guess that's what he does. He makes these fancy places. And of course, anything the Kraft Group is associated with is not cheap.
No.
Yeah.
They it's always top shelf. Everything they do is top shelf. So you've got that going for you. What I'm quick to discount is the people, the anti-gambling people. Okay, it's already been passed. It's a law. It's a moot point. Time to move on. Yeah. Okay, just because you don't want it in your town is one thing, but if you don't want it, period, this isn't the place for you. And there's another level and another tier for you to be complaining to, and you shouldn't be taking it out on the people of Foxboro if that just because you don't believe in gambling, and like I say, but obviously we could still buy lottery tickets, and we can go to other casinos and things like that. They're not that far away.
Yeah, of course.
And so, and that's, you know, and again, it's just, I seem to be weighing in on the side of the people who want to at least know. I mean, I don't, I'm a good person for this because I'm not a casino guy.
I'm not either.
I don't go, you know, I've been to like Connecticut twice. And, you know, if I go on a cruise, they have a little casino on the ship, and that, you know, that's fun for, you know, a few hours. But I mean, I'm not a casino-holic or whatever you call it.
Aficionado.
You know, we go to Twin River and see the shows here and there. But I mean, you know, maybe throw a few bucks in the slot machine. But I'm not a casino-type person. So it doesn't affect me on that level, and that doesn't mean that it doesn't affect other people. I mean, I know compulsive gamblers, and I know people that can go to the casino and win, and, you know, believe it or not, some people win. And nobody I know.
Yeah, nobody I've ever
Nobody I've ever met.
Everyone. Yeah.
So Eddie here has done some research on some crime statistics and.
Well, you know, I obviously, you know, everybody's weighed in on the pros, and the pros are more jobs, things like that. But then I looked at some of the cons, and I went to the, you know, the no casino people.
You know, Bill, they got the right guy to be looking at cons.
I was going to ask if that was. I was going to ask if that was
I
a pun.
could see it was
but
coming.
I said
There you go. You know.
I think he's turning red.
Well, you know, the thing is like I went on the no-win scenario, the people that didn't want the casino, and I looked at some of their facts here. You know, reason one, aggravated assaults increased 114%, robbery increased 161%, larceny, you know, yada yada yada. Murders increased by 22%.
Where's this at?
Right here.
No. Where did?
Oh, this is in Connecticut.
It's in Connecticut. And
These
how
are
much did
all-
the population increase?
I'm not sure. I didn't.
You know,
Well, I mean, I have here.
Numbers are funny things because
Wow.
you could arrange them to pretty much paint any picture you want.
Well, of course.
Bill will tell you that. You know.
Of course. Well, I tried looking for Uncasville, Connecticut, because obviously that's where, you know, Mohegan Sun is located. And I tried looking, and I couldn't find anything. Couldn't find any facts on what the crime rates were. Couldn't find anything. So I had to go to a couple towns that neighbor it to really find out. And one of them was Norwich, Connecticut, which is right near Monteeville and Uncasville.
Yeah, Norwich is the biggest town in the area.
Biggest town, yeah. And according to them, you know, and they go usually every 5 years up until they got into the 2000s. But when I was looking at the facts, you know, the rape hasn't really, I mean, in the 80s it was 12, 10, 2. Then to the 90s you get 28, 23, you know, so on and so forth. You know, robberies have gotten pretty high since the 80s. But the population increase hasn't really gone up that much. I mean, if you look at it, it looks like it's actually decreased.
By what,
time.
a couple of thousand people?
Yeah, that's it.
From
38,000.
Now it's down
to
to 30, almost 37, so about
Yeah.
1,000, 1,200 people less.
Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't really noticed that much of a difference in that. Property crimes, they look like in the 80s they had more property crimes than they did in the 90s.
Okay.
Because I'm noticing in the thousands, and when you get to the 2005, it's 748.
Right, and another good thing to look at would be property values. However, those figures are skewed now because everybody's property value has gone down. You know, and I don't know. You know, like I said, we try to reach out to some of the people to come down here. We figured we had enough people to keep them from fist fighting and whatnot. And I was hoping somebody would come down and talk with us. But you know, again, what are your feelings to it? Do you know if you're for a casino in the area, or pro, or against it, or what?
Well, I would say I live in Norton. I wish they were thinking about coming to Norton, because the idea of $10 million extra in my town, you know, budget certainly, and my property taxes certainly would at least interest me enough to listen. You know, I think that it's clearly a decision for Foxboro. The decision on whether or not to allow it is written into the law to allow for a local referendum by the host community. So there's no doubt that this decision rests totally and completely with the citizens of Foxboro. And we shouldn't be telling them what to do. And I'm not telling them what to do. If they want the casino, I think they should go for it. If they don't want the casino, I think they should say so and say forget it. The casino is going somewhere. We know it's going somewhere. And even if Foxboro does want it, they're going to have one heck of a time fighting with the people up at Suffolk Downs because they're in the same area, and only one casino can go in the same area. And Suffolk Downs just happens to